Hey girlfriends, it's Simeaka, your self-care bestie and your podcast host. Welcome to The Conversation, our favorite safe place for sisterhood, self-care, and storytelling. Now let's set the vibe. Fix your tea or get your wine, light your candles, grab your blanket and your journal, get cozy and call your girlfriends because we're about to have the conversation. Thanks for being here. Now let's get into it. Hello. It's me, Simeaka, your self-care bestie, and welcome back. Welcome back to Dear Girlfriend Conversations. How are you? How are you feeling? How are you doing? How was your week? I am doing well. I'm excited to be here with you. So, welcome back and thank you for coming. Now, before we get started, you already know we're going to set the vibe. We set the vibe each time we come to the conversation because Dear Girlfriend Conversations is a safe space, a sacred space. And as we cultivate and celebrate sisterhood, and while we experience the gift of storytelling, we will put self care into practice. So, girlfriend, let's set the vibe. Fix your tea, get your wine or your water, light your candles, grab your blanket or your pillow, get cozy, and call your girlfriends because we are about to have the conversation. Now, for me, my vibe is already set. I have my cozy blanket here. I have my green tea with a little bit of ginger, a shake of cayenne, and a little honey. So I'm ready. So let's go ahead and get into it. Today, we are discussing boundaries and self love. Now, here's the question. Dear girlfriend, how do I set better boundaries, particularly with my friends? I'm struggling. Okay, so I love this question. I love this question because boundaries in any relationship is vital. It's essential to any relationship. And although it may feel like a struggle, or maybe it's been a struggle, it absolutely does not have to be so. It is very possible to set boundaries that strengthen the relationship without damaging the relationship. Having boundaries is so essential because it allows each of you, each person in the relationship, each of you to maintain your own emotional wellness, your own emotional care, your own emotional intelligence, right? I constantly speak about emotional care and emotional intelligence because it is essential to everything that we do in life, particularly in relationship. Boundaries allow us to nurture our own emotional health while still supporting the other person, the friend or whoever we're in a relationship with. Without boundaries, friends or people will overstep, maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally, but regardless, there's going to be a breakdown, which leads to a burnout or some resentment, frustration, or just frankly being so peed off with the other person because oftentimes it leads to a breakup or a breakdown or some type of falling out between friends or whoever you're in a relationship with. In this case, we're talking about friends. But by setting a clear, communicated, upfront boundary or boundaries, friends can create a mutual understanding and respect for one another's boundaries, making it more, I would say, maybe instinctive to respect both limitations and needs. Boundaries between friends create a sense of safety and security within the friendship and emotional safety without being overwhelmed by having the feeling of being taken advantage of or taken for granted. While boundaries are clear, or when boundaries are clear and when boundaries are respected, it strengthens the bond and helps create a more authentic and happier and joyful and healthier relationship. So, girlfriend, I would say start small, right? Start small, be upfront, be honest, and be reasonably fair to yourself and to your friends. Like, do not waver, whether it's your time, your energy, your resources, or even your space. Do not commit to something that you would rather avoid or you would rather say no to. When you set boundaries, girl, listen, you're you're not asking for permission to set a boundary. It just is what it is. That is the limitation. That is the need. That is it. You are simply saying that is my line. That is my limitation. That is my need. It is not a question. It is a condition on how we are in relation with one another. Just as a last note, when your boundaries are being, I would say, tested or challenged, be honest and upfront, right? Be forthcoming with the information. And I would say that it just leads to a healthier um, discussion, right? For those hard conversations, um, it makes it easier when you're honest and upfront. Don't hold if someone steps over the line or disrespects the boundary, or if you've done the overstepping or the disrespecting. Don't hold on to it. Just address it and nip it in the bud. Like just when I said that, I felt my family coming out when my family would say nip it in the bud when they want to cut something off in authority, right? You want to cut it off in authority. So I'm going to give you a couple nip it in the bud phrases, for lack of a better word, to kind of help you out if you haven't been successful with communicating your boundary, or if you don't really understand it quite yet. Just here are like a couple phrases that you can use to kind of like get the conversation started, right? To help I guess, support you in your boundary making. One thing that has worked for me is just simply saying, that doesn't work for me. Or even, I would say this, when people are used to you being one way, or when you're used to being one way, they expect it. So it's okay to say, that no longer works for me, right? Or that doesn't work for me, that no longer works for me. You can simply say, oh, well, we see things differently, right? Or we see things differently, and that's okay, right? You don't really need a lot of discussion after that, girlfriend. You don't, right? You don't need a lot of discussion after that. It just is what it is. You can also say that's not negotiable, right? It's not negotiable. Or you can say, I don't have the capacity for that, and just leave these sentences there, right? Like, so you can say this and then leave it there. And if there's a bigger discussion that needs to have the discussion. Use emotional intelligence to do so, but have the discussion, because if we are in relationship to be in friendship with another person, then we want to make this work, but we have to understand what our boundaries are and the other person's boundaries. So remember, boundaries need to be clear. You need to respect other people's boundaries, and they need to be able to respect yours. So remember that when boundaries are clear and upfront and communicated, this leans to and creates an authentic and happier relationship. Start small. Remember, I said start small, be clear, be upfront, and be reasonable. So that's it for now. Before we go, I want to leave you with a little something. Dear girlfriend, I want you to remember that your peace is your power. Part of self-love is honoring your own needs and your own limitations. Setting boundaries is self-love, and boundaries are the way that you protect that love. Boundaries help you create space for the things that nurture your soul, helping you be your best self, not only for you, but for those you like and those you love. While boundaries are essential for healthier friendships, boundaries are also vital for your own emotional wellness. Boundaries are self-love. I wish you peace. I wish you good health, love, laughter, light, and the desires of your heart. Love always. Simeaka. XOXO.